Greetings, fellow traveler and viewer. Welcome to Sleep Tarot, where we do tarot card readings in a slow and quiet style, similar to those late night radio shows. Before we begin, please keep in mind that this is a broad reading, so if there is an idea or theme that you find a strong connection to, bring it along with you on your journey, and if not, let it float on by. This will be a pick-a-card reading, so we will draw 3 cards, but before revealing each card, we will assign an item to each. This gives you an opportunity to choose your reading based on how you resonate with the item, and then a second opportunity once the cards are revealed. Perhaps the card reveal will reaffirm your initial decision, or it will open new pathways for you to consider. Feel free to watch one or all of the readings. Remember, the choice to explore is always up to you. Let's begin shuffling. I hope you're doing well. Okay, we got one. Two. And soon to be 3. Apologies for the garage door. Oh, okay, we got a couple popping out, but we see this one, so we will choose the one that's hidden. Great. And we'll leave this out as a possible theme for the rest of the readings. So what message is meant for you right now? Let's see. Okay. So, for the first reading, we're going to have a pyramid for each one, but for the first reading, we have this pyramid here. I'm not sure what stone exactly this is, but it has sort of like jungle essence to it. The second reading will have this pyramid. Has a strong Jupiter vibe. And for the third reading, we have this pyramid. Seems more like desert to me. Okay, sandy. So I'll give you a moment to choose based on those 3 items. Okay, let's review the cards. For the first pyramid, we have the Wheel of Fortune. For the second pyramid, we have the Star. And for the third pyramid, oh, that went down a little loud. For the third pyramid, we have, looks like the 9 of Cups. Okay. So, I'll give you a moment to choose your reading based on the combination of item and card. Please keep in mind that this is a new channel, so any likes, subscriptions, or just comments are greatly appreciated because it helps us grow. Okay, let's start with reading number 1. Hello, reading number 1. You chose this triangle, this pyramid, alongside the Wheel of Fortune. The ups and downs of life, the fortuitous, and how this wheel keeps spinning, the cycles of life. You know, when it rains, it pours. When it's not pouring, it doesn't seem to be raining at all, and everything in between. Okay. Perhaps you are seeking some good luck or good sign coming up for you. I hope you're doing well today. The cards really want to fall out today. There we go. What message is meant for you right now, group number 1? That looked like it really wanted to come out. Okay, let's just draw the rest. These cards are a little larger than normal tarot cards, so I'm still getting used to shuffling them. I don't know. I used to shuffle like this, you know? But, well, that was a poor example of it, but these cards are large, so it's hard to do. Okay, let's just draw from the top. I'm rambling. Is today one of those days where I just go off on a tangent? I hope not. Or actually, maybe sometimes they're good. They're not always bad. Sometimes they have a point to them. Okay, we've drawn all 10 cards. And let's just quickly remind. This fell out in the beginning when we were picking our choose a cards, our pick a cards, and it's the Page of Cups. You know, a joyful adventure, being lighthearted in some ways, having a little bit of, you know, humor involved. Perhaps that will be important in this reading. Okay, in the current position, we have 6 of Swords, a sense of moving on, of committing to an adventure, having crossed the threshold. You know, once you're on the boat halfway across the river, you've committed to that journey. And below we have 3 of Swords. Perhaps you're moving on from a heartbreak. You know, this in this position, the 3 of Swords in the lower position now means you might be feeling some sorrow. Maybe you're feeling, perhaps, you know, loneliness, but what are you feeling right now? Are you feeling any of those emotions right now, group number 1? In the past, 5 of Pentacles, kind of holding on. Were you holding on before and finally letting go? Group number 1. You had put in a lot of hard work. We have 7 of Pentacles. I am sure you've put in a lot of hard work. Perhaps this was a relationship that you put a lot of hard work into. 5 of Wands. You were torn about something. There was contention. There was, you know, maybe a lively debate among yourself, actually. Perhaps you were unsure of what to do. You were kind of conflicted. What was happening? So much was happening. You know, someone meant the world to you. Group number 1. Can you think back to a person that meant the world to you? Did you have to leave the relationship? You wanted to hold on, but you, having put in so much work, but you decided now to go on your own. You've committed, and that can be painful. That separation can be very painful. But, you know, there's a sense of calm coming, having known that you made the right choice. You know, 4 of Cups in the lower position in the future. We have this new cup coming in. A new blessing. And this will be within yourself. Because you've chosen to move on. Look at this. You have the 6 of Swords. You've committed to this journey. You've committed to moving off and leaving. some form of relationship. It might have been romantic. It could have also been friendships. Leaving it behind, leaving the relationship behind in some way, but also being excited about the journey that you're taking now. You have a lot of options coming in. We have the Page of Wands in the future above position. And in the completion cycle position, we have the Knight of Pentacles. Oh, the dog's crying. He wants to go for a walk. And the Queen of Swords. Well, look at this. I mean, wow. The Queen of Swords on the above, Knight of Pentacles below. I'm actually going to take a moment with Knight of Pentacles. I'm not going to read the official stance for Knight of Pentacles. We're actually just going to take a look at this card. I mean, the Knight of Pentacles has a shield, has a farm, has land, has a shield, horses. The concept of being strong in movement, but also protective. You're protecting yourself now. But it doesn't mean you're not open. It means you have the ability to protect yourself when you see something that could cause heartbreak. Never completely close off, because you always want to move on. You always want to focus on growth with the tree in the background. But you're stronger now in the future. In the future position, you become very strong, resilient emotionally. It could be through practical means, having your own home or having your own car, something like that. But it could also be just an emotional resilience. Having seen that you're capable of deciding to move on and taking that leap and actually going on that journey, seeing the kind of peace that can bring, gives you strength. In the above position, you have the Queen of Swords, which means you're going to be making very good decisions, because you're going to base it on your intuition, your past experience, your emotional connection to the situations involved. And those decisions are going to be decisive and true to you. You're going to follow your heart. So the initial message that's meant for you right now is, if you're feeling sadness, you may meet someone new in the future, but this process can be painful. The separation can be so painful. It can be very sad, and it can make you feel lonely. But if you do commit to doing what you know is right for you, internally you will be at peace, and you'll have a whole new adventure to explore, a whole new world to explore. You might meet someone actually that's very decisive, very strong in the future, because you've become someone inside who is decisive and strong. And also someone who doesn't completely let joy leave them. Doesn't let joy leave them completely, because even when you're very sad, there's always a new horizon. There always is. These two together, the two pages, they're exploring the expanse, the beautiful world. There is beauty. There is beauty out there. That's a big message for you. There's beauty out there, group number 1. You're going to find it. Let's clarify this message a little bit. I see this is a relationship message for sure. You have the imagery of, some perhaps fights, arguments. I don't want to say fights, not physical, but argumentative, with people that meant the world to you. And you put in work, and you don't want to let go. But you've already chosen to. You've already committed. But now, the exciting message, the message for you, is that there is beauty out there for you. And you're going to become a very strong person through having experienced and chosen to be true to yourself. All right. All right, this is good. So we've picked some smaller cards which go on top of the main reading to clarify. We have the Eight of Pentacles here. Leaving is hard work. Committing to a journey is a lot of hard work. Nine of Wands, and it can feel like, when is enough enough? It really can be painful when I know of this myself, being awake at night, missing someone or having chosen to not be with someone specifically or having them chosen not to be with you. It can hurt, but this is one where you've chosen, for sure. The Six of Wands, you were remembering the good times. You were holding on to the good times. And, you thought it would be brash. You thought it would be too quick to just cut ties. But you've already chosen. You have the Empress and the Five of Wands. There was a lot going on for this relationship. There was a lot in this relationship. These people or person meant the world to you. I feel like it's either a romantic interest or a group of friends. One or the other. Now we have the Six of Swords again. It was fated almost. Perhaps you had thought of leaving. You had thought of, cutting ties or separating, or you had thought maybe this group of friends isn't really the best for you, but you still cared about them so much, but you had thought about it. And you didn't want to just completely cut them off, but after doing this work, after holding on and thinking about the good times, you realized this has to go. This has to end. You have to move on. You have to take your own path. This doesn't necessarily mean complete separation, but it is one where you're focusing on yourself and you're not going to worry about what other people want from you so much. This is friends. Obviously, if you're in a family situation where there's obligations, this is a different situation, but this is more like, the friends hey, come on, hang out, stuff like that. That's where you're no, I'm moving on. Or it could be a relationship where someone tries to come back in after having, not treated you fair enough, and you're no, I'm moving on. And that's a lot of hard work. You're putting yourself through the gauntlet here, the fire. But what comes out on the other end is gold, right? That's alchemy, that's growth. The King of Swords on top of the Four of Cups. You have resounding decisions, and you're calm in the decisions you make because they're on the right path. They're taking you to the right path. The Lovers. Perhaps you are moving on where you're going to meet someone new. There's a beautiful world out there. There's a lot of beautiful people too. We have the Seven of Pentacles. We have Five of Pentacles, Seven of Pentacles, Eight of Pentacles. It's interesting. This normally I would say would be work related, working on building a business or something like that. But in this reading, this is really about the effort and the dedication that's put into relationships. Clarifying the Queen of Swords. Nine of Swords. Interesting. What I see here, you used to not be able to sleep. But when you find that person for you, you'll be able to sleep soundly every night with them. Knowing that they love you, knowing that love is there for you, that dedication, that caring, these sleepless nights will be gone, and you will know you have made the right decision. Even when you're not with anybody, you'll be able to sleep soundly because you've made the proper decision. You're making all of the right choices. Wow, reading number 1, you're strong-willed, you know what's best for you, and you're going to move on to a world that's going to be so much brighter and more beautiful. Even though, in the past we have relationships which we look back on very fondly, but we know there was a reason for us to be where we are now, and for those people to be where they are now. And now you are finding a beautiful future for yourself. A very beautiful future, because you've put in the hard work on yourself, and in making the right choices, you stayed strong. I have so much respect for that, group number 1. I wish you the best. I will see you later. Take care. Hey, reading number 2. You chose the Star alongside the larger pyramid, a very Jupiter style. Doesn't it look like the swirls of Jupiter? Perhaps you're waiting for something big. Perhaps you're healing something that's taken a while, but it's going to bring quite a lot of abundance to you. Perhaps. We'll see what the cards say, but I believe that if you chose this, you have big things coming for you. Alright. And we had this fly out during the initial pick a card, and it's the Page of Cups. So let's try to keep in mind that sometimes a light-hearted perspective can be very healing as well. Okay, so let's begin. I hope you're doing great, group number 2, reading number 2. We're just going to shuffle these cards. If any fall out, we'll pick those. If not, we will just draw from the top eventually. Okay. That felt like it wanted to come out. Doesn't look like anything. Okay. We'll just cut, shuffle, and pick cards from the top. That's good. Okay, we're just going to pick these cards. Middle to the left. The far left. To the right. The far right. Okay. Well, let's see what we got here. In the current position, you have judgment, moment of rebalancing, moment of freeing oneself. Eight of Cups, having chosen to move on from, having accomplished a lot, but choosing to move on from it, to reveal something within yourself that you needed to find. Four of Cups, being at peace. New cups coming in, new energies coming in. Alongside 10 of Wands. Okay. Group number 2. Reading number 2. Have you recently been putting in a lot of work? And are you about to just take a break now? Are you moving on from something? This could be a relationship. The Emperor, moving on from a relationship of someone who had a lot of strength, maybe. Whoa. Look at that. You have the Emperor underlying the Empress. Then you have in the past a movement of 10 of Wands, a completion of a cycle of hard dedication work. And at being at peace with this process, it becoming almost like a release. Perhaps you have broken up with a relationship, or perhaps you're in a point where you're ready to dedicate yourself to someone. This is definitely interesting. I see potentially healing from a past relationship, but let's take a look at what the future message is. We have Queen of Pentacles underlying the Three of Pentacles. Working in a group, getting along, contributing your expertise, your specialty, and everyone having a role. And you having the role of being very, generous and kind. Then we have the Three of Cups. Reuniting with oneself, I think, in this case. With an aspect of oneself. With the King of Wands in the future. Group number 2, you might want to check pile number 1 or group number 1, reading number 1. Because both of these are very relationship oriented. And both have a theme of moving on, of letting go after having put in so much hard work. Now, this is an interesting beginning because this must have been, this person in the last reading, whatever was happening in the past meant the world to reading number 1. And I could see something like this, such a strong bond with the Empress and the Emperor, being something that means the world to you. And it's in the past, but look at, you have the wands, all of these lessons learned, but being at peace with the decision to walk with these lessons that may be a burden at first, but you're letting them go now. And it looks like you might be meeting up with friends, or perhaps you're focusing on school or work for a little while. But you're generous, and you're going to meet someone, perhaps someone from the past, who is creative, strong-willed, but can make you laugh because, interesting, can make you laugh because Page of Cups is showing the importance of humor. Let's see what else we have here. Maybe your knight in shining armor is coming in soon. Maybe you're reminiscing and you're healing from a past relationship that seemed so good, seemed like it was going to go, was going to go on forever. But then the decision was made that it had to not continue the way it was. But now you have this brash knight coming in, a King of Wands energy, someone who has creativity, charisma. This can go either way with Three of Cups. It could be also friendships, but it does not feel like friendships, to be honest. This feels like a romantic story, one of, hard decisions, hard lessons learned, but also healing, releasing the old energy, and finding a moment to focus on oneself, one's skills, and then finding the person or becoming the person that will be perfect for that new relationship. The new kind of relationship, the relationship you need. One is perhaps is stable, but might not be traditional. Who knows? Okay, let's add some, you do. Let's add some clarification cards here. Ooh, okay, that goes there. I'll be interested to see what's clarifying the Empress. This kind of romantic synergy, this divine masculine, divine feminine synergy there. Anything else? Okay, we'll just draw from the top then. Cut and draw. It's been a lot of moving on energy in the past couple of days. Okay. In the current position we have clarifying Judgment, King of Cups. Finding that balance of strength and resolve, being emotionally stable, being able to release those feelings, release pent up maybe resentment or past experiences, being able to just to find peace with that. Knowing that you judge correctly, you see how it all fit together, and you're resolved and feeling stable emotionally, and having resolve in your decision about how you decide to interpret what happened in the past. Okay. A new beginning, we have Death, clarifying Eight of Cups. You moved on, but there's a new day coming. Two of Swords, you weren't sure about your decision at first, but once you made it, you felt a sense of peace. That's a sign that you made the right choice. If you're not sure about a choice, and then you finally go, I'm committing to this, and you're at peace with it, it's a good sign. The Five of Cups. You were afraid of losing something important, but there was more to be gained. There was more to learn, to understand, to feel in the future by having let go of what you had lost. Five of Wands going in the exact. This is the exact same spot it was in the last reading. Okay, reading number 2. I would say absolutely check out reading number 1. I don't normally do that, but reading number 1 is so tied to this, and this was the exact same spot. Perhaps there were arguments in the past that made you realize what you needed to do. And we have Judgment again. Made you realize you had to move on. So you moved on in the past from some relationship. It could be romantic or a friend group. And that decision, once you made it, gave you a sense of peace. It gave you a sense of peace. Releasing the old energies, releasing energies that, calling back the energies that were taken from you and releasing the energies that were taken from others will allow you strength to strengthen yourself and your resolve in who you are. The Hanged Man, that's interesting because it's with Three of Pentacles. It's aligned with Three of Pentacles. You're a generous person, but you're also someone who has, diligent hard work. You're able to put in your energy into group efforts. And, maybe right now is the time to focus on school, on classes, on work. Also on health, too. Yeah, this is like the end of a cycle. This is a huge end of a cycle. You decide to move on. There's an enormous end of the cycle. We have the Ten of Swords overlying Three of Pentacles. Like leaving, if it's a friend group, it seems like this is the closing out of a friend group relationship. Perhaps things need to change before you can go back to hanging out with them. Or this could be you're finally letting go of all of those things from the past in a romantic relationship that were, in some ways tying you down. Like with this Ten of Wands feeling like it was a burden. These things can manifest, they can continue on for a long time, but if you allow yourself to release yourself, to let go of them, and to move on and focus on other aspects of one's life, you find healing can move fairly quickly. We have the Knight of Wands. Okay, so movement. Absolutely. Knight of Wands with King of Wands. Clarifying King of Wands. The Four of Pentacles. See, I feel like this is one of those things where you, after having let go, instead of holding on so tightly, after having let go, you're able to see so many new opportunities and actually able to shine within yourself and showcase how strong you are. Someone who's generous, who's strong, who knows the right place to put their energy with the right team, where your skills, your special, what makes you unique and beautiful actually does work well within the team or within the relationship. So, reading number 2. I do think reading number 1 will be very beneficial for you, but I hope the best is going to happen in the future and you find that sense of peace within that I know you can. I will see you later. Take care. Hey, group number 3, reading number 3, how are you? You chose the Nine of Cups alongside this more sandy, desert-like pyramid. Perhaps you have something that you've accomplished that you're very proud of. And before we get into the reading, I just want to remind you, for every reading so far, we've had the Page of Cups as kind of a side card because it fell out during the pick a card time. So perhaps just a more light-hearted perspective could be helpful with these readings. At least a reminder that humor can oftentimes be the best medicine. Or is it laughter? Laughter can be the best medicine. Humor is kind of a necessary prerequisite. Okay. I hope you're doing well. Group number 3. Reading number 3. Oh, that card right here. Okay. It just popped out to me. I'll keep shuffling. We'll just shuffle a few times, and if any cards pop out, we put them down. If not, we just draw from the top. Let's just draw from the top. once, cut twice. Okay. Just gonna pick these cards for the left side. And for the right. Okay, let's begin. So in the current position, you are Knight of Wands. Are you moving quickly on something? Or perhaps not? Let's see. Two of Cups below the Knight of Wands. Harmonious relationship of complementing energies. In the past position, we have Two of Pentacles, having made a choice. Above the Two of Pentacles, we have a High Priestess, an intuitive choice, trusting your gut. In the far past, we have Four of Pentacles, having held on to something, perhaps some form of, I hate the words addiction, but we'll use it for this, perhaps addiction. Or perhaps you were letting go. I want to say this. See, Four of Pentacles for me in this specific one shows, it just reminds me of social media. Having been on your phone for so long, like always staring at the phone, Perhaps you were letting go of keeping track of people online. Because we have the Three of Wands, which is kind of letting the ship set sail, allowing those who need to go on their journey to go on their journey. And you don't need to watch every moment of what they're doing. And you obviously realize that. This is one of those situations where you've already made your choice, so it's intuitive, and you're moving, you're in motion right now. You are connected with your complementing energies. You're finding this and that works together. Future, we have strength, internal strength with external, the Devil, interesting. Perhaps this is one of those things, I said addiction, I said the word, and the Devil is one of those cards of like procrastination, addiction. Perhaps it is a social media thing where you've moved on from it, and this is one of those things where, every once in a while you get a reminder of, someone, sent you a message and all that, but you don't want to deal with that. Aha, okay. So, you might have felt defeated. Perhaps you made up your mind. You're like, I'm deleting Facebook or Instagram or whatever it is you're deleting. And you might, reinstall it for a moment and feel a little defeated. But then you'll get a reinvigoration, a strength. I see an interesting thing. I'm focused on social media and addiction in this storyline. But this does feel like there's a renewal coming very quickly, a very burst of energy, of creative spark that allows you to move on from all of that stuff. You have this holding on means actually what happens is if you faced it, you might have internal strength, you might have felt a little defeated, but you actually did really well. Sometimes with these things where you have a goal, it could just be going to the gym even, something like that. Going to the gym, you want to read a novel and stuff, and something distracts you from that, the distraction. Remember that it's not, you might be distracted by just the fact that you're pushing forward because you have these strong goals. You want to align yourself with the right energy. It can come in fits and starts at first. If you're starting a lawnmower, and I say that because someone's mowing their lawn outside. If you start a lawnmower back in the day, nowadays it might just be pressing a button. Back in the day, you had to, pump the gas a little bit and pull. You had to start that mower. You had to pull that string that would start the engine. And did the first pull normally get the engine started? Sometimes, but you had to give it a really good rip. But I'm talking about you have to pull a couple times, right? You go vroom, 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 like that. That kind of energy is what I'm seeing here. Where don't beat yourself up if you're not doing exactly what you want to do. As long as you have your goal in mind and you're dedicated to it, slight setbacks are always possible. Keep an open mind and keep a light-hearted spirit. Don't forget you can laugh at yourself. Oh, got back on the phone. I spent some time, scrolling like Instagram, or I was on YouTube, like whatever. That's okay. Because as long as you dust yourself off, get back on the track, you'll be all right. Get back on the horse. Get back on the horse is the message I'm getting from you for you. So your message today is get back on the horse. Don't hold on so tight to like, this is how it has to be. You made up your decision. You made your decision. You want to do this. You're going to do it. And that's fine. That's great. Just don't beat yourself up if there's like a 1 step back situation. 2 step forward, 1 step back. Be proud of yourself. You've already accomplished a lot. For sure. You've accomplished quite a bit. Just keep going. If there's a minor setback, whatever. You get that burst of energy knowing that you're on the right track, 1 step back, 2 step forward, and you're going to get a burst of energy in the future that's going to give you that momentum to consistently commit to what you want to do. Let's do some clarification. I have that. Oh, that one popped out. This one. I have that experience often, where if I want to eat well or have a plan for healthy eating, sometimes veering off that plan can be a little disappointing, but the trick is getting right back on as fast as possible. Okay, we're going to cut, shuffle, and then just draw from the top. Okay, we'll take that one too. All right. Clarifying the Knight of Wands. 3 of Wands again. We had 3 of Wands here. Kind of letting bygones be bygones is the message I'm getting for a second. Like, don't be mad at yourself. Let go of that. Queen of Pentacles. 2 of Cups. Being generous to yourself. Strength. Again, this balanced strength. Being strong. You made a strong decision. And now you're being strong when you're facing those setbacks. 6 of Swords, moving on. Interesting, there's a lot of moving on energy in all 3 readings. Knight of Cups, clarifying 4 of Pentacles. See, I see this as like social media. Knight coming in with all this information, and someone's holding onto their phone, like keeping them up at night kind of thing. Staring at the phone screen. If you're watching a phone screen at night, it's better to just turn the phone over and just listen. Don't bother with the screen. We have 2 of Cups again above the 3 of Wands. So 2 of Cups, really finding a harmonizing balance. Finding a balance for yourself so that you can be consistent. The Hermit. Taking some time alone. Actually, there you go. You taking a break from social media. Ace of Cups. That overpouring. Your emotional stability is more important than knowing exactly what's happening with everyone. 9 of Cups. There we go. 9 of Cups, 9 of Cups. Be proud. Just because you're experiencing a setback does not mean that you failed. Queen of Swords. You've made the right decisions. You're going to make even better decisions in the future because you're learning along the way and you're figuring the little ins and outs of how you want to interact with the situation you're trying to improve on. Could be exercise, diet, maybe cutting out social media, maybe cutting out other aspects of your previous life. So, group number 3, reading number 3, I think there was a more strong tie with the last 2 readings together. I would say if you read reading number 2 or you listened to reading number 2, to definitely go back to reading number 1. This could actually apply a lot to reading number 1 and 2 as well. Although this has a little bit more of like focusing on yourself energy, which could very well integrate into the story and the message from reading number 1 and 2. This is more about those moments where you're doubting that, where you feel like you made a mistake. Realize that everyone does, but the best thing you can do is once you have, is to just realign yourself, align the energy, and focus more on what you know is the best path forward. If this has something to do with relationships, be mindful of the habits that other people bring to the relationship, because that can oftentimes influence one's own habits, and it's a good idea to keep in mind when someone has a disregard to your wishes about how you want to live your life. Be prepared to at least put some distance between them and you so that you can focus on yourself and improve your well-being. Because your well-being is what you have the strength to control. And look at this, you have strength underlying all of these messages. Especially the concept of the hermit with strength, and strength with 2 of Pentacles, making strong decisions, being strong in your conviction, in your wisdom. You have wisdom, you've had experienced successes in the past, and, don't be afraid to laugh at yourself, and actually just laugh at the whole situation, because we don't know how long we live, but we do know that there is joy. Even in the moments that might feel a little painful, there's moments where there's joy. I remember I personally was walking in a puddle and I might have slipped, and I just had to laugh at myself. It wasn't bad, but I just had to laugh at myself at how silly I was, because I didn't have to walk in that puddle. I actually chose to walk in that puddle, even though there was quite a bit of area to walk around it. Why did I choose to walk in that puddle? Well, I thought it was the best path forward because I thought I'd have a good view of something, but it ended up not being the best path forward because I was not paying attention to where I was walking. So, if I had paid attention, and next time I do, I always pay attention now, if I see a puddle, I don't choose to walk in it if I have other choices. I don't know why that popped in my mind, but felt like an important lesson. If you see a puddle, it may be a good idea to walk around it. Actually, perhaps you know now, after having tried to walk in a puddle, that it doesn't really work out the best way. So, avoiding them in the future is the best path forward. I don't know, I hope that resonates with you in some way. I am excited for you because this is a feeling of a fresh start for you. You're someone who, you have the right mindset. You know you want to create something beautiful, and you've accomplished a lot in the past. You're a beautiful soul. You just need to realize that when you're trying your best to remove yourself from the aspects of life that you no longer wish to associate with, that kind of process takes time, and don't beat yourself up. Don't beat yourself up over setbacks that make you feel like, well, you do not fail. You only learn. What you now experience was, well, now I realize that's a puddle. I realize that is a puddle that I need to avoid. Your message is one of healing and beauty, and I cannot wait to see the growth that you experience in the coming journey, because you have decided to write your path, and you're doing a great job. Reading number 3. I can't wait to see you later. Take care.